Right, so absolutely. With that, I'd like to thank you for joining us on NewsX, sharing your valuable inputs and insights with us. Moving on to some news that we're tracking from the international arena. Afghanistan's Taliban made a 13-year-old boy execute a man who was found guilty of killing his family members as more than 80,000 people cheered on the medieval style public in fact a spectacle. Tens of thousands of men gathered at the sports stadium in the southeastern province of Khost to participate in the display slammed by the human rights workers as inhumane and cruel. That's of course a very shocking news that we're tracking at this point in time from Afghanistan. Remember, we are now talking about an incident that is come in at this point in time where we're understanding that the Afghanistan under Taliban authorities has carried out a public execution of a man accused of killing 13 members of his own family, including several children, at a stadium in Khost city. This marks the 11th public execution in Kabul since the Taliban seized power in 2021 in the wake of the chaotic withdrawals of US and NATO forces. Again, a very shocking development that we're tracking very closely at this point in time. My reporter is going to be joining us very shortly to give us the updates at this point in time and what exactly happened over here. But for now, those are the details that are emerging in this case. Like I said, a man was shot to death by a relative of those he was convicted of having killed. That's the update that we're tracking. We're understanding that the trigger was pulled by a 13-year-old boy. My colleague Ajay Jandyal with us on the broadcast. Give us more on this. Ajay, very shocking news coming our way at this point in time from Taliban. Where we are understanding that in front of 80,000 Afghans who were there watching this ordeal, there was a 13-year-old relative, in fact, who executed a man accused of killing 13 of his own family members. What do we know? Ajay, if you can hear me.
Yes, please repeat the question.
We're tracking news from Afghanistan where we are given to understand that there were 80,000 Afghans who watched a 13-year-old relative execute a man accused of killing 13 of his own family members.
Yes, this shows that totally lawlessness in Afghanistan. That how a person been executed in front of the 80,000 people, and that clearly shows that no one bothers about the life of a person. And this system of killing somebody, and that is really shocking. And this was done in front of thousands of people, and no one have raised this voice. That is definitely really very strange, very shocking. And what I think world community also need to see this, that what is happening there in the Afghanistan, because no doubt that Afghanistan have seen such things in the past as well. But when it comes to the modern time and with the passage of time, things should be changed, and this should not have had happened over there.
Right, absolutely. Ajay, also help us understand what exactly has happened over here. We're also understanding right now, I mean, what about this 13-year-old boy? Why was he the one? I mean, to us sitting in India, it's very shocking to know that there was a 13-year-old boy who was asked to publicly shoot down this man who was accused of killing 13 of his own relatives. That's very shocking to us. What's the information that we're tracking right now?
See, the thing is that something which has happened over there, that was, very strange. And a man who was basically having some, they were blaming that he have killed a 13-year boy, and that's why he was killed. Taliban authorities in Afghanistan on Tuesday carried out a public execution of a man who was accused of killing 13 members of a family in the city of Khost. The killing of this man marked the 11th such execution carried out in Kabul since takeover by Taliban government over there. So the public execution also marked the return of the Sharia law in Afghanistan, which was strictly imposed following the chaotic withdrawal of US and the NATO forces from for last 4 years. So this seems to be the reason they once again trying to implement the Sharia law, which definitely very strange, and
Right.
how this world is going to take this, that has to be seen.
Absolutely. Ajay, thank you so much for sharing all those details with us. Major General Sudhakarji, senior defense expert, also joins us on the broadcast. So thank you for your time. We're unfortunately tracking some chilling and unsettling details right now coming away from Afghanistan, where a 13-year-old relative was asked to execute a man accused of killing 13 of his family members, and there were 80,000 Afghanis who just sat and watched.
Sabri, is that question for me?
Yes,
I'm General
sir.
Sudhakar
Yes,
on the
sir.
line.
That's for you.
Yeah, it's a very horrifying scene which is being described by you, and it is nothing new. And just a little while back, I overheard Ajay. I think he's the reporter on the ground. He's been giving a very comprehensive historic background to the whole issue. You see, after all, the Taliban, once they bounced back to power, they have not shown any signs of respect for human rights. And Taliban is known for Sharia law. So they have implemented Sharia law. Why alone? This is a ignoble and a kind of an act in 21st century. The world order should take a final call. It is a clarion call. Regardless of how the situation is panning out, regardless of the changing or shifting alliances in the West Asia and relationship with India, such kind of mayhem and blatant brutalities in broad daylight is not acceptable. The world should should cry out aloud and call it out. Be it the United Nations General Assembly or the Security Council or the Human Rights Organization or Amnesty International. Where are the Amnesty International and the Human Rights Organization, Human Rights Watch? Where are they? Why are they keeping quiet? Must be called out, and it should not be permitted in future, regardless of what the facts and the crime the child has carried out. This is not on. In 21st century, the global order has to take a final call. Is this acceptable for the mankind? I don't think so. In my opinion, we should have a special and exclusive meeting at the highest level in the global order, led by whether US comes in or not. Just leave that. All like-minded countries must come together and put pressure on Taliban to prevent or stop such kind of mayhem and brutalities in future.
Right, absolutely. With that, I'd like to thank you for joining us and sharing your inputs and insights with us. On that note, a quick short break.